Hey, welcome back to Don't Run with Scissors. I'm Kelly, your favorite Jeep driving lawyer, mom of twins, 3 crazy rescue dogs, who likes to craft in her spare time, has gone back to school to be an ASL interpreter, and is trying to train for Iron Man. Welcome. If you're new here, if you would go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, sends me a little message, boosts my serotonin and my self-esteem, and trust me, we could all use that, and I am no exception. If you're returning, welcome back. Again, you know the crazy you're in for, so go ahead, grab your drink, sit down, let's have at it. So the first thing we do here at Don't Run with Scissors is actually, I ramble. I do. So if you don't like my rambling, I'm sorry. You can forward through it. But we also do the sign of the week. So the sign of the week is what? It's celebration. Because this last week was deaf awareness. Awareness? I don't remember what the sign for awareness is. This is broadcast. So we'll do broadcast celebration. It's Deaf Awareness Week. So celebration is our sign of the week. Celebration. You're going to do X fingers. I don't know why X fingers. It makes no sense to me, but I just go with the flow. I don't write ASL. I just learn it. And you're just going to circle it. But you have to make sure that your face looks like you're happy because it's a celebration. Your happy celebration. So, happy Deaf Week. Even though that was last week. So this last week was crazy busy. All good stuff, and I totally appreciate that because, dude, seriously, I can only take so much. To be honest with you, I had sort of a breakdown last week with emotions. Totally normal. Just that horrible feeling of, one, imposter syndrome, two, absolute exhaustion and being emotionally just overwhelmed from everything. Not overly surprised. Got a little behind on some schoolwork because client work comes first. Um, and so that's that's really hard for me. I try to balance. What I figured out is that I'm generally really good at keeping two, 2.5, sometimes even 3 things, depending on what they are, all in check and everything squared away. You throw more than that at me, and it's a shit show. So, shit. Like, do a fist like this, stick your thumb in there, and you pull it out. But when you pull it out, you have to, like, spread your fingers. Shit. Show. So show is your A hand, and you're just kind of, so shit show. So we had a shit show last week a little bit. I am pretty much back on track. As far as schoolwork, I need to log my hours from last week. And then come to find out, so I've only been logging them on the one form. There's actually a second form, so I need to go back and do the second form for all of my hours. However, Wednesday night, I got interactive hours. Yay me. 2 of them. Doesn't sound like a lot, but I have got 30 to knock out. And those are the hardest hours for me to get. It's funny because I have a classmate who's knocking those out left and right, and she's struggling to get her observation hours. I'm like, how are you struggling with those? Like, I've got those almost done. So we did that and then Thursday, I got a mixture because we went and saw a show about visual vernacular. And visual vernacular is, it used to be a huge thing. It kind of lost momentum and things, and it's now kind of, it's coming back to the forefront. And so our sign club and the Office of Diversity and Inclusion flew a speaker in, and I had the opportunity beforehand to email with him and also to talk with him, well, to sign because he is deaf. Um, so Justin Perez, and he specializes in visual vernacular, and it's a method of communicating without using actual ASL. So it's sort of, last semester I had non-manual marker like grammar and stuff where you use a lot of facial expressions and gesturing to get across what you want to say without using traditional ASL signs. And visual vernacular is essentially that. So it was really cool. Like my professors were there, a lot of the deaf community were there, and we got to all interact. It was also interesting because a lot of first years or new to the program people came, and then we had our program is technically 3 years, even though it's only an associate, so it should be two, but it's three. So we also had third years there, and then you had, of course, certified interpreters in the deaf community there, and it was interesting for my classmates and I. A bunch of us sat together, and um, it was interesting to see how far we've come because we don't see that when we're in the throes of it. Um, so that was cool. And then Saturday, we ended the week with a group of us going to the Michigan Renaissance Fair. It was Deaf Awareness Week at the Michigan Renaissance Fair. Now, here's the interesting thing. My twins sign a little bit, being a little bit more than the boy child, but both of them, can finger spell. They know basics and they're learning more. Um, so a lot of the shows were interpreted. Some of the interpreters I knew, which was fantastic to see them in action. Um, the one interpreter we didn't know, and what was so the whole thing about ASL is their grammar structure is completely different than English. And the one interpreter we're watching, and we're like, okay, we wouldn't have signed it that way, but okay, like her word choices, her sign choices, we wouldn't have picked, but okay, the message still came across. But she also signs very English, and that was strange to us. So we were like, we wonder where she got her interpreter, like where she learned from, and if maybe that was a difference. Um, but it was very interesting to see. The other thing is that the group of us decided that while my kids would voice because their proficiency in ASL is not there, and not close to it, but they are much more comfortable at this stage voicing. That's fine. The three of us, however, as much as possible, wanted to sign all day. And so we didn't voice. And when we went into stores and we were signing with each other and not voicing, we got ignored by several shop owners. And we were like, what? And at one shop, we actually sought out the shop owner because you can tell who they are. For those of you who haven't been to the Renaissance Festival up here, it's weird. It's very different. The people watching is fantastic, but it's a bunch of like little booths, and then they have little stages where they do shows, um, and whatnot. So it's a lot of drinking and a lot of weird people watching. But so we were trying to track her, like go to the shop owner to ask how much something was, and she kept turning away from us. And then we went to another shop and I bought some loose tea. Um, way overspent. Way overspent on that. So my son and I walk up because my son also drinks tea. And we were signing between us, doing some basics and then pointing to different things on the list and whatnot. And the shop owner the woman came up to like us, and she has a plexiglass between us. Fine with that, like I have no judgment, whatever. And she realized that I was doing most of the signing and he wasn't really signing, but but basics. And she didn't talk to me. She talked to my son. She like she wouldn't look at me. And then finally I found it very interesting and I turned around and I voiced it to my classmates. And the lady, and I turned back around and she looks at me. And again, she looks at the boy child and she goes, "How deaf is she?" Why not just ask me? Why not just ask me? So the boy child says, she wears hearing aids so she can hear. But because of all of the background noise, it's still difficult and it's more comfortable in this setting, especially given that it's Deaf Awareness Weekend, for them to all sign. And then the lady proceeded to correct me on a sign, which she's wrong about. Like, it's a valid, the way she signs it, the way I sign it, are both right. Um, but she's like, your sign is wrong. No, it's not. So yeah, so it was very interesting. It was, and then we ran into another lady, who was there with her niece, and they had sewed their beautiful Renaissance appropriate gowns. They were gorgeous, y'all, gorgeous. And she actually knew both ASL and British Sign Language. And she was talking to us about them and how they may be different, or sometimes they're the same. And it was just, it was fascinating. It was so interesting. Um, so yeah, so we got in tons of hours there. It was exhausting. There was like, but it was good. Um, one of the shows, my friend from the program was interpreting the first time we saw it, and it was interesting because I'm very used to his style. Like I got to know him this summer during our music class, so not like I've seen him interpret several times, but not not regular. But I'm familiar with his style of interpreting, and it was very cool to see him again because he's a joy to watch. Like he's just he's fun to watch interpret. And he did a great job. Towards the end of the day, we caught the same show because we had finally connected with my classmates, and we watched the same show but a different interpreter. Now they have their shows. They're like on wash, rinse, repeat as far as what they're really saying, and it was interesting to see the difference in like sign choices or what she chose, like because you're not signing word for word kind of thing. It was interesting to watch the difference in the interpreters and how they gave back the same information essentially. So that was really cool. So yeah, so I had to log all those hours and apparently do this other form. Um, the other thing that I am doing, and right now I did order a couple things, but they're not in, so technically I don't have a haul. This is my only haul. My famous deaf person is Lou Ferrigno. For those of you who don't know who Lou Ferrigno is, which I cannot imagine anybody doesn't know who Lou Ferrigno is, he's the Incredible Hulk. He's the original Incredible Hulk, and I can remember growing up as a kid and finally getting a color TV and realizing that the Incredible Hulk turns green. So Bill Bixby, this tells you, the Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno, is deaf. He was born deaf. He's one of the first people who got a cochlear implant. He's fascinating. His life is, like, the more I learn about him, the more I want to learn. I did go look at a Jeep that is like Incredible Hulk green, and I have decided the only drawback to this Jeep is, one, I think they're asking a little bit too much for it. And I would have a car payment, which it would be affordable. It wouldn't be terrible. Um, it's a stick, and I don't know how to currently drive a stick. But if I bought it, his name would be, the Jeep's name would be Lou Ferrigno, and I would like put a big Incredible Hulk on his hood because that would be awesome. He does need bigger tires though. George had bigger tires, like I put all-terrain mud tires, so they're big and beefy with a 2-inch spacer. The green Jeep would need that, especially since his name would be the Incredible Hulk. Well, it would be Lou Ferrigno. So, um, yeah, I have court this morning. Please say prayers. It is a case where it involves some parental abuse and neglect, and those cases weigh heavy on me. And I honestly don't know any good attorney that those cases don't take a toll on our hearts. It's how you deal with that um, sort of. So generally, after I have an emotional case, I take the rest of the day kind of to decompress and just do something low key. However, I have that, then I have a neurologist appointment, that I have to do the extra reports and log my hours and start prepping for even tomorrow and stuff like that. So I don't have that, and then I have class all night. I may take some time to bike. So one of the good things is we have Bear Lake coming up on October 8th. October 8th. Saturday we essentially logged about 7 to 8 miles of walking on rocky terrain, like trail walking. My coach and I have decided, as well as the doctor, we're not even going to attempt to run the trails. I am in no condition physically, with having to be down so much, even recently, to push my body at all. That is not something that we want. The other thing is that, like Saturday and even on Sunday, I did some more walking and trying to at least build up some endurance, in the range that I have been, in the parameters that I have been given. I've been very mindful of what my doctor is said to me about this, as well as my coach. We're working very closely. My arm swells. And so like even this morning I'm still, and then the weather is shifting and it's raining. And so it's very weird, but it's very tight in the cast right now. And so like I've been popping ibuprofen trying to get that swelling down, so that I'm a little bit more comfortable. So I kind of, the only way, so when I bike tonight, the only way that it's going to be okay in talking with my coach and working out the plan, I'm on my trainer stand. I am not allowed to even pull out my single bike and do even a short ride outside. Absolutely not. The risk of falling there, it does not, like the small benefit of riding outside wouldn't, is far outweighed by safety. So I will be riding on my trainer stand. And what we've said is I will bike with my arm up like this instead of down on my bars to help, one, keep it stable and hopefully to alleviate that swelling. So that's the game plan. Okay, so enough about me, because this is a show about cross stitch and crafting. I know right now we're 18 minutes in and you'd never know that. Right now I'm not sure what you think this show is about, but that's okay. It's all good. Okay, so we worked on Whitgo. This is my Whitgo board. Do you notice something? My square is crossed off. So both of my squares for September are crossed off. I did finish the August one, which we've already talked about, and I have one extra crossed off because I've already done the work. Because excuse me, I pulled it for the trip. And then that wasn't the square that got called, but I did cross it off. So we're doing amazing again. Yay me. The other thing is I got spoiled in the mail the other day. I do have one other. I did break down and buy a t-shirt press. It's in the box right there. It's the boy child's turn. I'm down to no silverware. It's very frustrating. So I got spoiled, and I have lots of new wax scents, which is very exciting. But what I've decided to do is that I'm going to send them out to local needlework shops, in the hopes that more shops will carry this amazing stuff. I love this. Have I told you all how much I love this stuff? Like, seriously. This one is Blueberry Bucko. Um, it smells so good. So good. Um, so if you have a local needlework shop that you think may enjoy and might sell Nana sewing wax, if you could let me know. I know of a couple here in Michigan that I'm going to send to. I have to write the letter. If anybody wants to write the letter, let me know. But I'm going to try and get those out in the mail this week. Y'all can hold me accountable. Please do. Please do. Okay. So, my my week for WIPCO, what I worked on is the Zimmerman Coverlet. This is a collaboration with Modern Folk Embroidery and Jacob, with Ellen from Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour. And if I held it upside down, if I held it right side up, you might be actually able to read it. It is gorgeous. I had thought that I would just do one of the repeats. On the front, it's 3 repeats. I was thinking I might just do it as 1 repeat. There. So it would be like there. But then I was like, you would never see this motif completely done. See how it's half here? So I don't know. But then you can't just do 2 because that looks funky. That's not aesthetically pleasing. So you have to do them in odd numbers. And originally I was going to do it in a set of 3. So I don't know. So one of the new waxes that I got is Black Cherry Merlot. It is so good, you all. Like a crackhead. Yeah. And for some reason that just reminds me of Ellen. So that's why I used it. I don't know why. I don't even know that she drinks. I don't know. So we got our 10 days in. This is almost a page finish. Almost. I have to do part of the little center medallion that's here, and then the half motif down. So this piece down here. I'm going to say it's almost just because it makes me feel better. But I did get this all in. And I think I finished this star. I don't remember if I had it done yet. But I did get this one all in. I can cross the square off my WIPCO goal. Even though it's not a finish, I did put 10 days into it, which is 10 more days than I think I did last year. Whatever, it's progress. We all know I'm not here necessarily for finishes. I'm here mostly for progress. Excuse me while I sneeze. Okay. I'm loving these little tags. Whoever helped me find them, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wish I could remember who you are, but I can't, and I apologize. So if you'll let me know, I'd really appreciate that. Okay. We're going to sneeze again because 'tis the season. Bless me. Okay, so in here is Happy Halloween by Primrose Cottage Stitches, and the new wax in here is Root Beer Float. And you all, oh my god, this is probably my new favorite. I know, sorry. If you are at all familiar with A&W root beer, I don't know if that's sold nationwide. I know it's sold here in Michigan. It's a big deal. It smells exactly like it. Exactly. And it is amazing. And so when we were little, after trick-or-treating my mom, well, as we were sorting out and checking candy, because, you know, I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, so it was the big thing about pins and stuff in kids' candy, so you used to have to spread it out in the living room. Plus, then you would trade, like, what do you like, what do you like? And we'd sell some to my grandparents. So all the black licorice went to my grandmother because she liked it, and I am not a fan of black licorice, not at all. And I don't like candy corn. No. Okay, so enough about me. This is the pattern. It's my working copy of the little pattern. It is so cute. I mean, hello, that ghost is so cute. She's so cute. And those legs and a little spider, and it just makes me happy. My neighbors are leaving to go to school, which is honestly where we should be going with the boy child, but I think he's still sleeping, and that's why. So we did make a little bit more progress on that white pumpkin. I need to get busted a move on this, but yeah. So because we've got the next, and I am stitching that on 32 count Lagana Country Mocha with the called for weeks dye works, which are very nice. However, what I will notice, and again, I'm biased, and I'm not even going to lie that I'm not biased. Dude, I know the owner of the wax company. I don't get a kickback, but he takes very good care of me of sending me care packages, and I couldn't ask for more. Like, I'm so spoiled by the guys. Weeks dye works for me does kind of tangle and knot up. When I run it through my wax, it doesn't. And I appreciate that, especially even more so now. And because once it's waxed, it sort of slides through easier through the holes. It makes my hand less tired, which is good because it's very hard to hold I stitch in hand, and it's very hard to sew, like to hold my fabric in the one hand and sew with the other. So my arms get really tired. I did the new drop for for Under the Sea Cell came. Y'all, I'm getting behind, and it's like I was doing really, really good, and then I was converting the last scuba diver, and now I'm thrown off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hurry up and get my little scuba diver done. And then I'm going to, well, I need to, then the next drop, last month's drop was the border, to work on the border. I'm going to skip that, jump and do this stitch because it's two little sea otters. They're so cute, and some more fish. So I can knock those out, and then I'll go back and I'll work on the border. But part of that is because I have been working on the special Practicum Pixie project. For those of you who are not familiar with this project, in my program, my Principles of Interpreting class, each week we have a Practicum Pixie, and it's a classmate who you have to bring in something for the class. Now, it could be a flyer on some educational resource for ASL or the deaf community. It can be your favorite quote on a piece of paper. It can be whatever. It can be cupcakes. It can be whatever. Well, my brain decided that I was going to cross stitch on linen because, you know, I'm so proficient at linen stitching. Who am I? It is. I'm cross stitching the fingerspell version of everybody's name. My fabric, I just pulled random DMCs. I asked everybody's favorite color, and that is what I'm stitching on. I don't have my wax in my bag. Hang on, hold on. Here we go. I'm using movie theater popcorn, which smells just like buttered popcorn. Like, seriously. This I share this one with this one and my picture of my friend's parents. Because his mom is a big popcorn fan. So I am stitching this on a random piece of linen that was sent to me by Janet Jabber that is just beautiful. It's a plain sort of off-white, and it works perfectly for this. So I am now officially 4 names out of 14. 14, because I'm not going to worry about doing my own name. I have all of the purple people done, which sounds funny. So I think I might jump. There's one orange person. I might jump to do her name next. So We now officially have Chloe, Lily 1, Lily 2, and Heather. Um, so I'm super excited. Like I said, we have 4 out of 14 done. My hearing aid is falling out. Part of the problem of my hand not working so great on that side is that then I struggle to get that hearing aid in. I did get my replacement one in. It is really, really nice to have both my ears working again. I did not realize how much I rely on them now. Um, and realistically, how much signing I can both understand and can sign back. Um, and how much I've started to sort of, it's starting to become sort of second nature. I'm not anywhere near fluent, but I'm good enough for now. Like I definitely have seen the improvement in the last year. So, like I said, we finished second Lily and I got Heather. And I think I have one person with orange and two people with yellow. I have also one with Spartan green and really, but I think what I'm going to do is, so 2 of the 14 are the supplement, is our class tutor and the professor. I'm going to put theirs last. They are going to get them, but in the grand scheme of things, theirs are going last. So I know that my fabric won't be big enough to put everybody on. I am so, so grateful to Janet. Like, seriously, Janet, I cannot thank you enough. I absolutely, you're the best. So I did pull a second piece. This one's marked with 28, so I'm going to guess this is 28, and it looks like it might be an even weave. Versus a linen, because it doesn't have, that's definitely a linen because it's got the little slubbies, but I love working on it. 28 count seems to be my jam right now. I do have a couple, like I do have the one in 32, still good. I don't know, I'm not comfortable quite yet to go above 32. That day will come because we all know me. So I have the second piece ready to go. I just need, so, okay. So the other thing that I have been working on is a new pattern, and I'm getting ready to put it in the shop at Grandma's Stitching Box on Etsy. This is also the irony here. This is another Janet Jabber piece of fabric she sent me. Seriously, Janet, I love you and adore you, and I cannot thank you enough for this gift. It does not look like much. I'm sure you can't tell what it is. Right now, I did have to order more of this, but when Fire Poppies was closing, I bought a bunch of fancy flosses in random colors, not knowing. So this is Brown Bear. So cute. I love the names. And that's essentially kind of what I went by, kind of colors that I thought I might use at some point. So I pulled my fancy floss to model stitch this one. What I have saw, so there is, we have the Michigan School for the Deaf up in Flint, of all places. Yes, Flint with the water issue. Still an issue. Still an issue. Yes, Michigan politicians, I'm talking to you. Still an issue. If you could all fix that because it's broke. Okay, back to the regular program. Um, they are doing a silent auction. Okay, I have no idea why it did that. It just stopped. So thank goodness I now know how to piece you guys together. Um, so the Michigan School for the Deaf is doing a silent auction and they're asking for donations. So my goal is, John is graciously sending a package that I don't know how to show you guys the pictures off of Pattern Keeper because my pattern loads into Pattern Keeper. Oh, here we go. We can do it this way. We can cheat. Oh, I don't think it will do it that way. Okay, anyways, my goal, yeah, I won't do it that way. My goal is to get this done and in a frame in the next couple weeks, actually. Which I don't think it's going to happen. I will be honest. It's designed, okay, so I designed this. It will fit in an 8 by 10 frame if you stitch it on 16 count. It is a sign that is, because this is technically not an ASL sign. It is because it sort of is, but it really isn't. But it's generally seen as I love you. Okay. I designed the word friend, the ASL sign for friend, into a pattern. I am totally excited. Like I said, it's I charted it all in monochromatic. So I am doing it on my Janet Jabber piece of fabric, linen, which is this beautiful, and it actually it is coming out pretty good. It's this beautiful green, mottled green, like kind of like a grass green. Let me see. Yeah, it's a little bit brighter than it's showing up on camera. And then I am stitching it in Gentle Arts Brown Bear, which I have some more Brown Bear coming because I only had the one skein. You actually need 3.5 skeins total for the pattern. So that will go up on the Etsy shop. The other one I got inspiration from my friend's picture of a tree on the water here in Michigan. It's kind of abstract. It's small. It's only like 60 by 60, but it's intense because it is a full coverage little piece. I'd like to get that model stitch before I put up in the shop, but I think I may just have to put it up. And then I am working on the football themed one for 42 Strong. So I had it a significant chunk done, and then when Stitch crashed on my computer, and I have to it lost it, so I have to redo it. But that's fine. It's fine. We'll get there. So my goal this week is to WIPCO numbers aren't out yet. It's not the end of the month. So to work on the names, to work on the undersea sail, and to work on the model stitch for the friendship sign. So those are my things, and to work on homework. We are 141 books out of 150 for the goal of this year done. I've got some phone calls to make too today, and it is just going to be kind of crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I'm going to have to smush these two together now, but at least I know how to do it, and I don't have to start all the way from the start because that would suck. So hey, baby steps, and we're going to take those joys. If there's anything that I can do to help you out. Oh, I did dye some floss. I used blueberries and black beans. I was hoping that this would work for, here, we'll do it for my One Nation. It was supposed to be more blue. It's more silver. It's really, really pretty, but it is not quite what I want. So we're going to try it again. I did some more research. I think I needed more blueberries and, surprisingly enough, red cabbage. I think I have too much black bean in my mix. I know, crazy. Things you never thought you'd hear. So we're going to try it again. Can't hurt. Can't hurt. So, we'll go from there. So, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go. We're going to talk next week, and have a great week. If there's anything I can do, feel free to reach out. His Princess Kelly on Instagram. You can always reach me on Facebook. You can always email me. I will list Hillbilly Candle Company down below, as well as my Etsy shop, and we'll keep running with it. So I will talk to you guys later. Have fun.